Next 25 odd years, he also ruled with increasing brutality. His secret police, SAO, trained by the CIA, imprisoned, tortured, and executed thousands of people who disagreed with him. Resentment grew amongst the masses. In 1979, Iranians had had enough. Millions took to the streets demanding that Shah step down. Protests and anti-government demonstrations were held all across the country, and when protesters were massacred by the government, it led to an even wider outrage. Finally, in 1979, the Shah left office, and Ayatollah Khomeini, the religious leader who had been exiled by the Shah, came to power. Iran then, from a pro-Western monarchy to an anti-Western theocracy almost overnight, and it was at this time that the Shah of Iran went to the US to camp the future. Now, what seemed like a completely innocent act seems to the Iranians as proof that America was planning to reinstall them just like in 1952. So in 1979, Iranian students stormed the US embassy in Tehran after 15 Americans hostage for 444 days. From the American perspective, this was shocking, lawless terrorism. But from the Iranian perspective, they saw the US Embassy in Iran as a CIA command post and a planning center for retaliation. So what they did felt not only justified, but a retaliation for 1953. Now the Hawkins crisis destroyed Jimmy Carter's presidency and humiliated the United States. Even the rescue attempt failed disastrously, with American helicopters crashing in the Iranian desert. The hostages were finally released in January 1981. Immediate subsequent Carter's presidency ended and Donald Reagan began. After seemingly no change for Jimmy Carter. But more importantly, now the relationship between the US and Iran became one of permanent hostility. The American embassy was gone. Diplomatic relations were severed. And both countries saw each other as enemies. But this was just the beginning. The United States wanted revenge. And the perfect opportunity existed in Saddam Hussein. He had come to power in a neighboring Iraq just a year ago. And in 1980, entered what ended up an 8-year war with Iraq. Now, while this was not influenced directly by the US, they saw this as the perfect opportunity to leverage. In geopolitics, there are not only friends or enemies, only interests. And at this point, Saddam Hussein was fighting European unity, trade competition, and allies. So the US decided to provide it with assistance. The US gave Iraq anti-weapon showing Iranian capabilities. They showed Iraq helicopters that were used in combat. They gave Iraq dual-use technology that helped them build weapons systems. Even turned a blind eye when Iraq started using chemical weapons against Iran. This went so far that when Iran tried to bring anything that the Iraqi chemical weapons used in the 1980s, the United States lobbied against condemning Iraq. The Iranians were sent a clear message. America's opposition to Iran wasn't about human rights or international law. It was about maintaining dominance in Iran, no matter the cost. After the Iran-Iraq war ended, the hostility continued. Because now Iran had started taking nuclear seriously, and this frightened the US. Iran argued that their nuclear program was for peaceful energy purposes, which is their right under the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty. But American and Israeli intelligence believed Iran was pursuing nuclear weapons, and that became unacceptable. You see, the Middle East runs on geopolitics. Gulf states rely on US protection. Israel is the only one with nuclear weapons, only undeclared. And Iran was so far tempted. But now, if Iran acquired a nuclear weapon, what isn't just nuclear power, it would nucleate US infrastructure. These terrorist militias in Iraq and Iraq. It would also directly threaten Israel, USA's ally. But worst of all, force Saudi Arabia, Turkey, even Egypt to consider nuclear programs. They might hypothetically not use US military support once thereafter. This might even have some steering effect on the petrodollar. Since Saudi and USA have made the deal to use dollars for all oil sold by OPEC based on US's military support for them. And all this would start with Iran's nuclear program. So the US spent years escalating sanctions Iran's economy. The goal was to force Iran to negotiate a better deal that would also restrict its missile program and regional activities. Iran's economy collapsed. Its currency lost two-thirds of its value, and then Iran retaliated. It began ignoring the nuclear deal's restrictions, enriching uranium to even higher levels, and moving closer to breakout capacity for a nuclear weapon. Which brings us back to today. Iran in 2026 is a country in crisis. Its economy is devastated by sanctions. Its nuclear facilities have been bombed, and now thousands of its own citizens are being killed in the streets for demanding change. The Trump administration has restored maximum pressure, signing directives aimed at driving Iran's oil exports to zero. Trump has openly discussed military strikes, while also saying he's willing to make a deal with Iran. But here's what makes this moment so tragic. America doesn't see itself as the villain in this story. From Washington's perspective, Iran isn't a victim with a legitimate grudge. Iran is a problem state. It's a country that, through Hezbollah in Lebanon, Houthis in Yemen, and allied militias in Iraq and Syria, actively destabilizes the entire region. It's a nation standing at the edge of becoming which 21% of world's petroleum passes every single day, and a direct threat to US allies. Not just Israel, but Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and others who see Iran's expanding influence as a threat to their survival. For American policymakers, this isn't just about holding a 72-year-old gun. It's about prevention. They believe that if Iran is not stopped today, tomorrow there will be a nuclear war. And then stopping it will become impossible. So the window to act, they argue, is closing. So he's right. That depends entirely on where you are standing. For Iran, they're defending themselves against a superpower that overthrew their democracy in 1950, supported a brutal dictator for 25 years, backed their enemy with chemical weapons, and has spent decades trying to destroy their economy and isolate them from the world. Every American said sometimes what they already believe, that Washington will never accept an independent Iran. For America, they're containing a dangerous theocratic regime that took their people hostage, sends rescue America, funds terrorist organizations, and is racing towards nuclear weapons, while destabilizing the world's most volatile region. They believe Tehran cannot be trusted and must be stopped. And so the cycle continues. And caught in the middle are millions of ordinary Iranians who just want to live normal lives. They talk about opportunity to choose their own government. They're being taught for their own regimes to government, and they're making sanctions that, however targeted, feel really unfair. Until one side is willing to truly break the cycle, then forever be stuck in the same loop. The United States is going around creating conflict with every nation in the world. It started with full-scale sanctions in 2025. And as soon as the time was clicked on 2026, it captured Venezuela's president, threatened to acquire Greenland, and is now contemplating a regime change in Iran. Over the last 73 years, the US and Iran have had an incredibly personal relationship. It's not just about nuclear weapons or about military power or terrorism, but even about religion. Because you can look at Saudi and Pakistan, America has a better relation with them. So why has the US spent over 45 years sanctioning Iran, threatening them, and treating them like an arch enemy? When did America's obsession with Iran really begin? Let's start it. Iran in the 1960s looked like this. Women walked the streets of Tehran in Western clothing. They were studying in universities for higher education. The country was democratic and health elected. It was modern, progressive, completely different from the Iran we knew today. It was not a country that needed any saving, but Iran had something that made it both the luckiest and the unluckiest country in the world. Oil. Look at this chart. Apart from the US and Russia, Venezuela and Iran were the top oil producers in the world, and Great Britain was fully leveraging this. Since 1940, British government bought 51% of Anglo-Iranian oil companies. So the Royal Navy ran on Iranian oil, and they barely paid Iran even a 1950, Anglo-Iranian Oil Company paid 90.8 million pounds in corporate taxes to the British government. The Iranian government received a total of 35.23 million pounds in those same years in royalties and taxes. That's nearly one third of the capital to the government, not even the total revenue. During the World War II, they took it a step further and invaded and occupied Iraq alongside the Soviet Union to secure the oil field. But after the Second World War, as nationalism swept the Muslim world, colonized nations were demanding independence and control over their own economy. And in Iran, their primary focus was taking back their oil. And then in 1950, something happened that sparked a major shift. The American-owned Arabian American Oil Company agreed to give a 50-50 profit split to Saudi Arabia. The British Foreign Office rejected any idea of a similar deal for Iran. This was the breaking point. By 1951, a 69-year-old lawyer and politician named Mohammad Mossadegh was leading Iran's political scene. He was a Western-educated, secular, and fiercely nationalist leader. He simply believed that Iran should control its own natural resources. And he had massive public support. So when he got democratically elected into the Iranian government in 1951, the first thing he did was nationalize Iran's oil. He proposed a compromise, which would divide the profits 50-50 between Iran and Britain. But Britain